Welcome to JTV News. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ino Soman, and here's a look at what's coming up in this newscast. CXC launches Financial Services Studies syllabus in the BVI for advanced students across the Caribbean.
CXC was established one of the reasons to Caribbeanize the education system, to make what we do in our schools relevant to the region.
The success of our individual island states and our region depends on preparing the capacity of our citizens and residents to conduct our affairs on a global stage.
BVI Health Services Authority new CEO Paula Chester-Cumberbatch believes that excellent healthcare is achievable for all.
We are reviewing operating procedures, we are reviewing process flows, our policies, bringing everything up to standard.
Government members want more subsidy for agriculture and to reduce BVI's food import bill.
There's no way in any place in the world agriculture is not subsidized by a government.
Dr. Kedrick Pickering says locals are involved in the airport project bids.
The bidding document stipulated very clearly that there must be local involvement in this airport expansion project.
CCT BVI 4G LTE network goes mobile with a fun-filled $7,000 cash prize promotion.
You just have to be down with the home network, the BVI's premier 4G LTE network.
And in our Hot Trends feature, Mrs. BVI Angel Cameron is ready for Mrs. Globe competition.
I head off to China next month to compete in the Mrs. Globe competition, so I'm excited about that.
In news from the Caribbean, health officials in the Barbados are keeping a watchful eye on the increase in dengue fever cases. And Grenada's constitutional referendum has a new date as well as new issues. In our Medical Minute segment, age-related macular degeneration is one of the most common reasons for vision loss in people over the age of 65. A retinal specialist will explain why and how it can be treated. Dr. Keon Donaldson-Davis will have that report later in this newscast. But first, I'll have the news right after the break.
This is us. This is how we work. This is how we play. This is how we live. This is us. This is how we flow.
And now the news. A celebratory atmosphere permeated the Eileen L. Parsons Auditorium at HLSCC campus at Parakeet Bay, Tortola, as the British Virgin Islands and the Caribbean Examination Council hosted the launch of financial services as a subject to be pursued by advanced students across the Caribbean. The subject, which is the brainchild of the BVI, was adopted by CXC and will be offered starting next year at the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination level called CAPE. Registrar at CXC Glenroy Cumberbatch expressed hope that the new subject will spark interest, especially among Caribbean countries involved in the financial services industry.
CXC was established one of the reasons to Caribbeanize the education system, to make what we do in our schools relevant to the region and not just offer something that fits in some way or the other. Part of this process is listening to the governments, hearing what their plans are, hearing what they want to achieve, looking at the high unemployment within the region of young people It is not normal for persons to be educated and then become unemployed. We educate people to fit into our economies, to fit into our societies, to add value to what we do in the system. Too many of our people in the region, even though they have gone through our education system, still remain unemployed. So it is necessary to tie our education, especially at the Cape level, much closer to the economic opportunities available in the countries. BVI has decided that it's going to tie that to tourism and to financial services. And we were pleased to assist the BVI in the development of the curriculum for the financial services and to ensure that it met the needs of the BVI and the other countries thereafter.
Education Minister Myron Walwyn expressed hope that many students across the region will find Cape Financial Services attractive and says the British Virgin Islands would welcome persons from other Caribbean countries who want to study financial services. Minister Walwyn also said the Ministry of Education's aim is to build connections between the main economic industries and the education system.
We must continue to advocate and support our people to acquire the requisite knowledge and skills to maintain and grow our industries. The success of our individual island states and our region depends on preparing the capacity of our citizens and residents to conduct our affairs on a global stage. We cannot afford to allow students to just pass through our systems. Their education must be in tune with the direction of our countries in a complex and competitive world, and we must help our students to identify their role in our individual developments. We must also find ways to make learning interesting, ignite the curiosity and innovative capacity of our students to enable us to solve the challenges facing our individual islands now and in the future. Since the introduction of financial services as a subject in the Virgin Islands, literally hundreds of students have been exposed to and gleaned a high degree of awareness of our financial services industry and its relevance to their lives. However, we are cognizant that what is being done to bring about awareness is not enough to build the capacity needed for the industry. We are therefore very happy that CXC heeded the call to develop this syllabus to take all of our students one step further in that direction. The Cape Financial Services Syllabus, along with the work of the HF South Community College's Financial Services Institute, will provide an opportunity for young people to excel in various fields of the industry.
Guest speaker at the launch of CXC Cape Financial Services Studies Syllabus, Lorna Smith, who is the interim executive director of BVI Finance, says educating future leaders in the financial services industry must continue to be one of the most urgent priorities.
As we look to the next 30 years and beyond, we have to make sure that we are enabling the next generation to play a full role in areas which are so fundamental to our future. We have to ensure that they are equipped to discover and develop new areas, to have opportunities at home, yes, but equally in Shanghai, London, New York, or indeed anywhere in the world. This is the driving force behind this new initiative. I am pleased that our Ministry of Education and the Financial Services Institute have worked collaboratively with CXC Cape to establish a curriculum that will enable young men and women of this region to expand their financial knowledge and skills in this field. Today, I am particularly proud that CXC Cape has responded to the needs of the region in this manner by equipping our young people with the ability to begin to really thrive in this dynamic sector of financial services.
And Acting Premier Dr. Kedrick Pickering also addressed the historic event. He said BVI Islanders must become the owners and leaders of the financial services industry and believes that Cape will help to generate the interest in the classrooms.
We recognize that in the BVI, this industry must be owned by BVI Islanders. Otherwise, it will be lost down the road. We must create a large extent of population that understand and are involved in this industry. And that is why we continue to provide the requisite training and mentoring to strengthen the qualification of the skills necessary of BV Islanders to not only be employed in this industry, but to become the owners and drivers of it. And I believe that CAPE will help our plans to generate that interest.
The Caribbean Examination Council and the Ministry of Education and Culture of the Virgin Islands hosted the launch of the CAPE Financial Services Study Syllabus on November 3rd at the H. Lafferty Stout Community College on Tortola. You can watch the entire ceremony right here on JTV Channel 55. New CEO at the BVI Health Services Authority, Paula Chester Cumberbatch, has started her new leadership role at the BVI HSA on November 1st. This is her fourth Chief Executive Officer position, and she says she's a strong believer that excellent health care is achievable for all. BVI HSA's Franca Potter has more.
Thank you, Eno. The new Chief Executive Officer, Mrs. Paula Chester Cumberbatch, plans and directs all aspects of the organization's policies, objectives, and initiatives, and has direct responsibility for the day-to-day operations of the authority. Mrs. Chester Cumberbatch is accountable for managing, organizing, and directing the authority to ensure that quality patient care is provided and effective financial management is executed at all times. The new CEO is also responsible to ensure that the authority complies with all relevant laws, rules, and regulations, as well as development and implementation of policies and procedures.
The initial focus or the goals overall are to improve on the delivery of services, so the standardization of care, nursing care, clinical care, all aspects of the service delivery and continuum of care. So my first 2 days have been pretty full, meeting with all of the various executive managers, supervisors of clinical, nursing, and infrastructure departments. And just to get a snapshot of where we are, some of the gaps and the opportunities for improvement, I believe strongly that that it's necessary to recognize the foundation that has been built thus far here at the BVI HSA. We have a lot of work to do. The staff that I have met have all given that commitment that they are all on board. We have our strategic direction. We have accreditation that must be attained. And today, just today alone, we have 2 visiting physicians looking at urology and neurosurgery. I spent a few minutes down in the clinic, and that too is going very well. So I'm very excited for the days ahead. We are reviewing operating procedures, we are reviewing process flows, our policies, bringing everything up to standard so that as we move forward with the accreditation drive, everything would be easily accomplished. So I'm very happy. I'm here to work, as I would have noted recently in the media. And again, I look forward to serving the board and more so the people of the British Virgin Islands.
The BVI HSA Chief of Staff, Dr. June Samuel, also a member of the executive team, welcomed Ms. Chester Cumberbatch to the authority.
At the BVI HSA, we are very happy to have our new CEO on board. The Board of Directors has recently approved their strategic plan, which takes us through to 2020. And there are many different activities that we're going to be engaging in to take the BVI HSA to a different level, a higher level in terms of provision of the healthcare services that's needed in the BVI. So we welcome Mrs. Cumberbatch with all of her experience and her knowledge, and we certainly look forward to the leadership that she's going to bring to the BVI HSA.
This appointment is Mrs. Chester Cumberbatch's 4th Chief Executive Officer's position. She has a master's degree in business and healthcare administration, a bachelor's degree in business administration and marketing. She also has employment experience in public and private healthcare facilities, insurance companies, business development, consultation, and contract management. For JTV News, I am Franca Potter.
Some members of government have appealed for the administration to subsidize the agriculture industry in order to better improve food security. The call came this week as government got permission from the House of Assembly to borrow $1.5 million to finance the long-delayed Paraquita Bay greenhouses on Tortola. The loan facility is being provided by Deutsche Bank. And while the greenhouses are welcomed news, some lawmakers underscored the need to ensure traditional farmers are not forsaken. Minister responsible for water, Mark Vanterpool, said the government could better subsidize water for farmers. Vanterpool, who also is a supermarket owner, stated that BVI should not have to import fruits such as bananas, avocados, and pineapples. He wants them to be produced locally.
We must look at how we can, as a government, try to help them to subsidize this. And I know we have done it. We have given them fencing. We have given them a lot of things. We've subsidized water to them, and we want to be able to continue to do that. But we must find a way to better organize it to make it more productive for them. There's no reason why, Madam Speaker, supermarkets like the one that I have to import avocados every week. We can grow our own avocados in the territory, and we grow them. And they are produced very well, but the quantities that we have, we can't rely on. So we need to find a way to produce more avocados. Water is, at the moment, at a point where it might be feasible if we continue to drop in the production of desalinated water, that we can provide much more water to the farmers in a subsidized manner to be able to produce more crops, not just in the greenhouse aspect of it, but crops like avocados, like I said, plantains, bananas, and a number of others that can be grown that a lot of us in the territory use in a major way.
And Minister for Health and Social Development Ronnie Skelton said it is not unusual for countries around the world to contribute towards their agriculture industry, and he wants the BVI to follow suit.
Every country in the world that we know, including the Great America, agriculture is subsidized heavily. So we cannot expect to make the greenhouses and even farming in this country cost effective. The government, like the other important organs of the society, will have to be funded from government funds. There's no way in any place in the world agriculture is not subsidized by a government. So I expect that this government, whether this one or the one coming or the one after this, there'll be some subsidy, and there should be some subsidy for agriculture. Because if we can, Madam Speaker, reduce the food import bill into the country, we'll be doing the country a great favor.
Another government lawmaker, Alvaro Maduro Keynes, also called for greater investment in agriculture and for farmers to become more knowledgeable with marketing and packaging of their produce. The 2016 BVI Food Fest Taste of Tortola event has been postponed until early December. Taste of the BVI events are a major part of BVI's culinary tourism and offers industry partners the opportunity to showcase their offerings to encourage and drive traffic to their businesses. Director of Tourism Sharon Flax Brutus said, "We've had to make the tough decision to postpone the event because we want to have as many restaurants participating as possible so that the community and our guests can get a taste of Tortola in a grand way. While some restaurants have confirmed participation, we want to ensure that the numbers are sufficient to make it a successful event." In the meantime, the BVI Tourist Board looks forward to welcoming the BVI community and guests to the other 2016 BVI Food Fest events, the Joost Pork Festival and Joost Crawl on Joost van Dyke on November the 13th, the On the Rocks Bar Crawl and Taste of Virgin Gorda on November 18th and 19th respectively, and the Lobster Crawl on November 25th, followed by Anegada Lobster Fest on November 26th and 27th. For further information on the BVI Food Fest, you can visit bvifoodfest.com. JTVnews.com. And still to come on JTV News, Dr. Kedrick Pickering responds to questions from the leader of the opposition, Julian Fraser, about local involvement in the airport project.
The project was duly tendered, out of which a design builder contractor will be awarded a contract by the Cabinet of the Virgin Islands and not the subject minister. So what I'm hearing on the street ain't true.
And CCT launches a fun-filled CCT Like Max 7 campaign to celebrate its 4G LTE mobile launch.
You just have to be down with the home network, the BVI's premier 4G LTE network. That's what's up.
Plus, Sophie B talks Miss Globe competition, family, career, and marriage with Mrs. BVI, Angel Cameron. But first, we have other news making headlines in the Caribbean.
Here in the Virgin Islands, we are blessed to live and work in paradise. Paradise just doesn't mean our tranquil blue waters and green hills. National Bank of the Virgin Islands defines paradise as any place or condition that fulfills your aspirations. To me, paradise means knowing that I will have a financing partner when I'm ready to open my first business. I feel confident that I can manage whatever life throws my way because I know my bank will be with me every step of the way. That's why I choose National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official bank of paradise.
My future's looking so bright, 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 bright. With the official bank of paradise, paradise.
National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official bank of paradise.
Welcome to JTV News Caribbean News Report. Health officials in Barbados are keeping a watchful eye on the increase in dengue fever cases compared to the same period last year. The Ministry of Health says the majority of confirmed cases were recorded during outbreaks in the months of January, February, August, and September this year. As of October 8th, there were 467 confirmed cases of dengue fever in Barbados, with 1,378 suspected cases. That's 397 more cases than was recorded in 2015, during which one person who contracted the dengue virus died. Dengue is spread by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which is also the source of the Zika virus, the symptoms of which are also similar to dengue. Up to October 8th, there were 30 confirmed cases of Zika virus in Barbados, 23 of them pregnant women. In Antigua and Barbuda, the opposition United Progressive Party, UPP, is ripping into a promise of more jobs by Prime Minister Gaston Brown. During his address to mark Antigua's 35th independence anniversary on November 1st, Prime Minister Brown announced the creation of 5,000 jobs over the next 2 years. But opposition leader Harold Lovell is rubbishing that declaration, describing it as laughable. The Antiguan Prime Minister, who was elected to office in June of 2014, revealed that a call center to be constructed in Coolidge will immediately employ 150 persons and an additional 500 in 2017. In addition to new jobs in the hotel industry, a multi-million-dollar project at Woods Mall will hire another 800 Antiguans. That adds up to 1,450 new jobs that the UPP leader says simply doesn't get the math to 5,000. Adding that he will believe Mr. Brown's promise when he sees it, Mr. Lovell pointed out that the latest pledge is reminiscent of the Antiguan Prime Minister's yet-to-be-realized election campaign pledge of 500 houses in 500 days. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chastney is saying that the imposition of a departure tax will not result in a reduction in visitor arrivals to that country. More in this report from HTS News Force.
Since his confirmation that the airport tax is set to take effect in April 2017, the nation's leader has received immense criticism from various quarters. Chief among them is opposition leader Philip J. Pierre, who chastised Chastney for what he claims is a tax on St. Lucia's largest export industry, tourism. Pierre claims that visitors to the island will have a sum of over $200 added to their ticket prices. In that light, the former Commerce and Tourism Minister foresees a reluctance of individuals to travel to St. Lucia. Speaking to the media before the weekly cabinet meeting, the Prime Minister says the move is to rationalize the departure tax with the rest of the region. In addition, he asserts that these taxes have no effect on visitor arrivals.
When you look at the region right now, the average in this region is in excess of $100 is what the tax is. St. Lucia has been charging $25, and we've seen no advantage. Nobody can tell me that they've seen that our tourism numbers have gone up because we're charging less. The fact is the tax is in the airline ticket, and unfortunately or fortunately, most people don't really check, and it's either absorbed by the airline. So when St. Lucia went from $60 back to $25, we saw no difference.
The opposition leader also claims that the departure tax is very similar to the highly controversial and unpopular APD imposed by the British government. Shasni asserts that this is not the case. As to whether tickets will really become more expensive, the Prime Minister says he does not know.
When I say I don't know, the fact is that the airline makes that adjustment. So the airline looks at what the total taxes are and what their airfare is and adjusts their airfare in order to be competitive. So the fact is right now, who's benefiting from St. Lucia charging $25? Certainly not St. Lucia. So we're not expecting any fundamental changes in St. Lucia's competitiveness. And more importantly, that why should we be charging anything less than anybody else in the region? So that's the position that we've taken, and we think that this is opportunity cost that has been lost.
The Prime Minister criticized the former government for suspending the tax upon assuming office. He asserts that half the funds required for the Uwanora Airport's redevelopment would have been collected by now had the tax not been removed. Miguel Favre, HTS News Force.
Grenada's referendum has a new date as well as new issues. The constitutional referendum, initially stated for October 27th, has been postponed until November 24th. However, the opposition National Democratic Congress is concerned about the manner in which the writ for the referendum is being publicized by the Grenadian government. Deputy Leader of the NDC, Joseph Andal, says his party has no evidence that the writ has been published in line with Grenada's referendum laws. Meanwhile, NDC Chairman Vincent Roberts says the notice meeting legal requirement doesn't indicate that the Grenadian people aren't being hoodwinked. The opposition also has concerns about one of the 7 bills for which Grenadians will vote on November 24th. The Right to Gender Equality Bill has some persons worried that it could result in same-sex marriages being legalized, a position refuted by the government. The remaining 6 bills include the right to vote, the right to public-funded education, the right to recognize members of the disabled community, the right to be told why one is being detained, the right of detainees to an attorney, and the right to be silent. And Jamaicans will go to the polls for the second time this year. The Andrew Holness administration has set the date for the heavily anticipated local government elections. Minister of Local Government Desmond McKenzie announced on Wednesday at a meeting of Jamaica Labour Party parish councillors and candidates that the municipal polls will be held on November 28th and the nomination day on November 11th. Jamaica's political convention usually sees the party which prevails in the general elections dominating the local government polls as well. But with the ruling JLP only able to claim a 1-seat margin in the general elections in February this year, a victory in the local government polls may be easier said than done. The opposition People's National Party, led by Portia Simpson Miller, currently controls all 13 parish councils, as well as the Portmore Municipal Council in St. Catherine. And coming up next on JTV News. Dr. Kedrick Pickering says locals are involved in the airport project bids. CCT BVI 4G LTE network goes mobile with a fun-filled $7,000 cash prize promotion. And in our Hot Trends feature, Mrs. BVI Angel Cameron is ready for Mrs. Globe competition.
This is us. This is how we work. This is how we play. This is how we live. This is how we flow.
Welcome back to JTV News. BVI Airways on Tuesday, November 1st announced that its first Avro RJ104 engine jet named the Spirit of the Virgin Islands will be arriving in the BVI this weekend for flight demonstration and ground personnel training. According to BVI Airways press release, the on-island process is one of the final steps of the UK regulatory process. Premier and Minister of Finance Dr. Dearlanda Smith in a government press release said he is pleased with the announcement that BVI Airways will be arriving in the territory. He said the announcement is a reminder that the government of the Virgin Islands is committed to its promise of a non-stop service between the Terence B. Lettsome International Airport and the Miami International Airport. He also stated that this announcement means that we are one step closer to our goal, where travelers will soon be able to get to a major international hub from major metropolitan centers around the world. Premier Smith maintained that direct air access to the territory is a game changer for the BVI's economy, both in tourism and financial services, and looks forward to the actual launch of the service. The government this week said there is local involvement in the bids submitted to carry out the multi-million-dollar runway expansion at the Terence B. Lettsome International Airport on Beef Island. According to the minister responsible for the airport expansion project, Dr. Kedrick Pickering, locals are involved in both companies that are now before Cabinet for consideration. While responding to questions posed in the House of Assembly by Leader of the Opposition Julian Fraser, Dr. Pickering noted that local involvement was a requirement in the bidding process.
The bidding document stipulated very clearly that there must be local involvement in this airport expansion project. Both bids now up for consideration state very clearly that local consideration and involvement is a component of their proposals, as is required by the tender documents. In fact, Madam Speaker, as the member so rightly alluded to, the airport project is a major contract, and only the Cabinet can award such a contract to anyone. As Minister, I have met with various individuals over the period of the procurement process to answer specific questions relating to the tender process for this project.
Madam Speaker, the minister said he has met with various individuals, but he hasn't said whether they were local or foreign. My question.
All local, Madam Speaker.
Dr. Pickering continues to underscore the importance of the airport expansion for the BVI economy and says he will continue to push for it to become a reality. He told the House of Assembly that he is committed to seeing the airport project done properly with the full and meaningful participation of the people of the BVI in a transparent, equitable, and a fair manner to all. The Deputy Premier denied suggestions that he does not have the government's full support in his push to get the airport project off the ground.
The project was duly tendered, out of which a design-build contractor will be awarded a contract by the Cabinet of the Virgin Islands and not the subject minister.
Madam Speaker, I didn't hear the answer to A. Why is it being said that he is giving the work for the project to a foreign contractor as opposed to a local?
Madam Speaker, as I stated in my previous answer, the project was duly tendered, out of which a design builder contractor will be awarded a contract by the Cabinet of the Virgin Islands and not the subject minister.
So what I'm hearing on the street ain't true.
Cabinet is yet to make a final decision as to which company will undertake the project, and Dr. Pickering did not disclose the names of the companies on the short list. But media reports earlier indicated that only one of the two bids included local involvement. The joint venture by Ideal Group from Canada, Sir Robert McAlpine Holdings from the United Kingdom, and ADC Construction from the British Virgin Islands. The other bid is by China Communications Construction Company Limited. The House of Assembly has given the approval for a $16,000 pay increase per annum for junior ministers Archibald Christian and Marlon Penn. Penn is Junior Minister of Trade and Christian is Junior Minister of Tourism. The pay increase will take effect from December 2015 when the appointments were made. Government ministers supported the motion and explained that the junior ministers are tasked with additional responsibilities and they should be reasonably compensated.
Madam Speaker, the junior minister's salary as we speak is $36,000 a year. That's the salary, Madam Speaker. And the salary is being moved from $36,000 to $45,000. That is the salary. The rest of it is allowances that the ministers get. Travel allowance, telephone allowance, and entertainment allowance. Travel allowance, Madam Speaker, is $3,000. The telephone is $972, and the entertainment is $3,000. But these are per annum numbers, Madam Speaker, of a total amount of $15,972. And this was approved by the Cabinet, I think last month, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, for us or anybody in this country, I know we have people who seem to be unreasonable. For any of us to believe that we can put people to work without remuneration, Madam Speaker, the last time that happened, and we are still looking for reparation on payments from our slave masters, which we don't seem to get, which we will not get.
You're a member of the House. You get a particular salary for being a member of the House. If you get additional responsibility, it is only fair and proper that it attracts something. And this figure is not even significant, Madam Speaker, in the grand scheme of things for the responsibilities that the Junior Minister of Tourism and the Junior Minister of Trade have to carry out. Then I heard somebody say to me that they heard on the street that the back pay gonna be somewhere in the amount of $100 and something thousand. You didn't hear it, Junior Minister of Trade? Nonsense. Nonsense. The thing is being made retroactive to December 2015 when they actually started to carry out the responsibilities. And if you do the mathematics, it's about what, 10 and a half months. It's only a little over $13,000 they get in the back pay from when they started to work. But you hear the same ones who there on the street now spreading the rumors, telling people that they will get 100 and something. I was so frightened when I heard the figure. I pull up my calculator quick to see what's going on because I want to be a junior minister too. Because if that's what the retroactive paid, I need to be there with them and not here.
The House of Assembly approved the motion for salary increase for junior ministers on October 31st, 2016. CCT BVI has entered phase 1 of its mobile 4G LTE launch to provide faster mobile communication to customers. The BVI has been waiting for LTE technology for over 2 years, and after a long legal battle with the Telecommunication Regulatory Commission, CCT is rolling out its 4G LTE service. According to a press release from the locally owned telecom company, mobile technology has been deployed in most populated areas, with service already available in the Road Town area, including Main Street, Wickham's-Key, Lower Estate, Huntamscott, Port Purcell, and McNamara, as well as the Valley, Virgin Gorda, and East End Long Look, with additional areas scheduled to be added soon. CCT mobile technology is already available on many LTE-enabled mobile devices, with additional devices coming soon. And to mark the important milestone, CCT launched a fun-filled CCT Like Max 7 campaign promoting its 4G LTE speed, featuring Ms. BVI Erica Creaky and rising local band OMG. JTV visited CCT flagship store in Road Town for the CCT Like Max 7 launch that will see customers win a $7,000 grand prize.
The BVI's premier 4G LTE network goes mobile today. So make sure you get into CCT and take advantage of all our great offers. We have a crazy, high energy, different, unique, all that good stuff campaign. We call it hashtag CCT Like Max 7, baby. We're giving away iPhone 7, Samsung S7. We're giving away LTE routers. You name it, it's going crazy. We are going crazy. Everything's going crazy. It's all about the BVI's premier 4G LTE network, and you definitely want to be in. So new customers, current customers, prepaid, postpaid, everybody has a chance. You just have to be down with the home network, the BVI's premier 4G LTE network. That's what's up.
For more information on CCT 4G LTE promotion, you can visit cctbvi.com. And Mrs. BVI Angel Cameron is ready for the Mrs. Globe competition in China. The beautiful and intelligent Angel Cameron sat down with Sophie B of JTV's Hot Trends to talk about the competition, her passion, and balancing career, kids, and marriage.
I head off to China next month to compete in the Mrs. Globe competition. So I'm excited about that, representing the territory. But it's not really a competition. It's a lifestyle challenge.
Okay.
You know, we're married now. We have kids. You know, it's not about looking pretty and being fabulous. It's more about what can you do for your community. And that's what I love about this.
Okay. So that part, what you could do for your community, is why you decided to be a part.
That's exactly why I decided. I'm not the pageant queen type of person.
Right.
Some people keep saying, oh, you look like the type. It's not my personality.
Right.
So what I like about it is it gives me an opportunity to give back in a way that I would not have been able to before.
Right.
I wouldn't have put myself out there, and now I feel like it's a more appropriate forum for me to say, you know, these are the things I'm passionate about: environmental sustainability, diabetes. I'm passionate about these things.
Right.
And I can get my foot in the door without seeming to be some takeover personality type person. So.
Well, I was at the night you were presented to the BVI. I was there. Fabulous, my dear. You basically had, like, you know, the swimsuit, the cultural costume, and your evening wear.
Yeah.
And these are the things that you're going to be displaying as well when you go off to China.
Yes, these are the things that I'm going to, the same categories. We have to do a talent when we're there. It's not mandatory. It's more of an entertainment segment for the community.
Okay.
So it's good that we do a talent. So I'm going to do a bit of poetry. I love poetry. I'm going to write a piece that I'll be saying over there. So I'm going to do a poetry piece. We'll display cultural wear, swimsuit. Bit nervous about that one.
You look fabulous, girl. Come on.
And then evening wear, and a lot of it is about, you know, your charitable contributions and what you would do if you win, because at the end of it, you get funding to come back to your country if you win, and that funding goes to your charity of choice.
Right.
We've just started the Environmental Sustainability Trust Fund Hair Board, so I'm hoping to bring some money back to help them start that off right.
Right. So, you know, one of the reasons why I really wanted to sit down and chat with you was because, of course, you're Mrs. BVI.
Yes.
You're married, so you've got the
13
husband.
years,
13 years, all right, girl. So you got the husband, you got the kids, you've got the career. So I basically want to know, how do you juggle all of that? You know, the career, the kids.
This is where we need to, as couples, we must have that conversation. So a lot of times, and let's admit it, we get silent. We feel overwhelmed, but we don't say, honey, I really wish you would have cooked dinner tonight.
Right.
We just keep it in and we mumble over that
And we
stewed
just cook
chicken.
the dinner. Right.
He ain't even helping. Look at him.
Right.
Watching football. We don't say it, but we need to be honest as women and say, you know, babes, it's been a rough day today. Can you deal with the homework with the kids? I'm going to get dinner started. I can't do both.
Right.
we feel we can't say it. Why not? No, we need to, because we want to be super women.
Yeah.
We don't want them to see that weakness, that we might not be able to perform well enough in everything.
Remember to catch full episodes of Hot Trends right here on JTV Channel 55 every Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. And next in our Medical Minute segment, age-related macular degeneration causes vision loss in people over the age of 65.
It's abnormal aging of the retina, in particular the macula.
Dr. Kean Donaldson-Davis will have that report next from the Mayo Clinic.
Eureka, located in the British Virgin Islands. Come, discover Eureka Medical Clinic, which provides the most complete medical services in the Virgin Islands. Our state-of-the-art clinic offers the highest quality in specialty care, cardiology, gastroenterology, orthopedics, and spinal surgery. We also offer specialty care in obstetrics and gynecology, as well as dermatology. Eureka Medical Clinic offers diagnostic procedures such as x-rays, mammograms, CAT scans, and all forms of ultrasound exams. Now, for the first time in the BVI, Eureka offers MRI scanning too. With colonoscopy and gastroscopy, we check the intestines and stomach for polyps, colon cancer, and ulcers too. Located at Geneva Place in the heart of Road Town, Eureka Medical Clinic with Medicare Pharmacy and Labs offers you a comprehensive medical facility all under one roof. So for high-quality medical services and convenience, there's no need to look any further. Eureka! You found it.
Age-related macular degeneration is one of the most common reasons for vision loss in people over the age of 65. But early diagnosis of the disease can preserve sight. In this Mayo Clinic Minute, Jeff Olson talks to a retinal specialist about what causes macular degeneration and how it can be treated.
This is what the world can look like for a person with age-related macular degeneration.
It's abnormal aging of the retina, in particular the macula.
Mayo Clinic retinal specialist Dr. Sophie Bakri says symptoms can vary.
They can range from distortion of lines, distortion of letters. They can also have blind spots.
Caucasians with blue eyes are more likely to get macular degeneration than people of other races. A family history of the disease can increase your risk, as can smoking and obesity.
There are two kinds of macular degeneration. Okay? One is the dry kind, the other is the wet kind.
The more common dry macular degeneration leads to thinning of the macula or drusen spots under the macula. Its progression can be slowed by taking special vitamins. Wet macular degeneration is caused by abnormal blood vessels that leak fluid into the macular region. The wet condition can be treated by injecting medication into the eye on a frequent basis.
And the results have been excellent. You know, about 90% of patients don't lose any further vision.
Reassuring news for anyone who's worried about a future view of the world. For the Mayo Clinic News Network, I'm Jeff Olson.
Before we go, a brief look at the main headlines. CXC launches financial services studies syllabus in the BVI for advanced students across the Caribbean. BVI Health Services Authority new CEO Paula Chester-Cumberbatch believes that excellent healthcare is achievable for all. Government members want more subsidy for agriculture and to reduce BVI's food import bill. Dr. Kedrick Pickering says locals are involved in the airport project bids. CCT BVI 4G LTE network goes mobile with a fun-filled $7,000 cash prize promotion. And in our Hot Trends feature, Mrs. BVI Angel Cameron is ready for Mrs. Globe competition. In news from the Caribbean, health officials in the Barbados are keeping a watchful eye on the increase in dengue fever cases. And Grenada's constitutional referendum has a new date as well as new issues. Just a reminder that you can find all the news stories featured in this newscast as well as previous newscasts on our website, jtvlive.net. You can also access all our news features, press conferences, and JTV's television programs on our JTV News YouTube channel. You can subscribe for daily uploads. We welcome your questions and comments. You can email us at jtvnews@hotmail.com. For the entire news team, I'm Ino Soman. I'll see you next time.